Look, if you're a marketing executive and you're just tired of seeing your campaigns totally underperform, you are in the exact right place. Today, in this explainer, we're taking a hard, direct look at exactly how we sell. We are officially abandoning generic feature-led marketing right here, right now. Seriously, it's time to stop listing product specs like you're writing a stereo manual from 1998 and start speaking directly to the psychological drivers that actually make people open their wallets. Okay, let's dive into this. The foundational law of modern commerce is incredibly simple, but so often ignored. If you try to sell the same thing the exact same way to everyone, you're going to end up selling to no one. Your consumers, they don't buy products, they buy solutions, they buy emotions, identities, and honestly, perhaps most importantly, they buy time. If your marketing assets are still just a bulleted list of technical features, you are completely missing the human element. The more precisely you understand what your audience truly values deep down, well, the better you can position your offer. So here's your executive briefing for today. We'll start by moving beyond the feature list. Then we'll contrast selling time versus identity, explore status versus emotional well-being, unpack the parent-child dynamic, and finish up with data-driven benefit mapping. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, Beyond the Feature List. Purely technical feature lists have some severe limitations. Why? Because they force the customer to do all the heavy lifting of translating a spec into a real-world benefit. Benefit-led selling does that work for them. It's the practice of focusing on the solutions, the emotions, the identities, and the time that a customer genuinely values, rather than just hitting them with product specifications. The bottom line is this: emotional storytelling is the most effective vehicle to present your offer. Actually, scratch that. It's absolutely crucial. When you tell a story about how a product actually improves someone's life, you bypass their analytical defenses and speak directly to what they truly desire. Moving on to Section 2, Selling Time versus Identity. Let's look at a concrete example. On one hand, we have affluent buyers. For wealthy customers, the product itself is often way less important than the time it frees up for them. They will happily pay a premium to reclaim hours. Think about it. Concierge services, private travel, white glove experiences. They are literally trading cash for convenience and speed. So to target them, you position your offer as a way to buy time back. You highlight the ease, the exclusivity, and how you remove friction from their crazy busy lives. Now, contrast that with students. Students are not buying time. They are buying a version of themselves they hope to become. They want that aspirational identity, those career outcomes, their future potential. To reach them, you've got to give them tangible pathways. Show them testimonials, before and after stories, clear milestones that connect your product to the dream they're actively chasing. See? Two completely different audiences, two entirely different emotional drivers. Section 3, Status versus Emotional Well-being. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast in messaging techniques. When marketing to men, the data suggests a really strong response to visible markers of achievement and control. They're drawn to products that signal competence or success, whether that's through high-performance design or measurable results. So your messaging here needs concrete outcomes, benchmarks, and direct comparisons that prove how your product helps them win or take the lead. Conversely, when targeting women, the focus heavily shifts toward emotional well-being. We're talking confidence, balance, connection, improving daily life. Emotional resonance is everything here. You want to use stories, sensory details, and user experiences that build really strong bonds. Center authenticity and trust as the absolute core elements of your message. It's basically the difference between selling the shiny trophy and selling the feeling of the journey itself. Let's look at another unique challenge. Section 4, the parent-child dynamic. Here's the reality. Kids don't decide purchases, their parents do. But the child absolutely drives the demand. So what does this mean for you? It means your marketing assets must be dual packaged. For the child, you appeal to fun, imagination, immediate gratification. You literally have to show them the excitement. But for the parent, who's actually holding the credit card, they need to see the rational side of things. They want safety, educational value, durability. And beyond that, parents are incredibly receptive to pitches promising time and relief. I mean, think about it. Products that promise convenience, short breaks, or just restored energy, those will absolutely hit the mark. Highlight how your product gives parents the space to recharge or just enjoy 5 minutes of quiet. You have to sell the thrill to the kid and the peace of mind to the parent, the whole package. Which brings us to our final core topic, Section 5, Data-Driven Benefit Mapping. The absolute most critical thing I want you to take away from this explainer is this. Segmenting your message is absolutely not about stereotyping. Let's be clear on that. It's about mapping product benefits to specific desires using hard, real-world customer data. You must gather data to test these emotional benefits, run surveys, conduct one-on-one customer interviews, look deeply into purchase patterns to see what's actually moving the needle. You've got to test which benefits resonate and then tailor your imagery, your language, your marketing channels, and your calls to action based on reality, not just boredom assumptions. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how to do that. This matrix turns abstract desires into a totally clear reference chart. Look at how we have demographic segments mapped directly to their primary emotional drivers. Affluent buyers map to time, students map to the dream, men map to achievement, women map to feeling, parents map to rest, children map to fun. This takes all those complex psychological concepts we've been discussing and distills them down into a crystal clear cheat sheet for your creative teams. Seriously, print this out and keep these map drivers firmly on your desk. To make this even easier, here's a super quick 4-step checklist so you can apply this framework today. Number 1, identify the primary emotional benefit for your target segment. 2, match your product features directly to those specific benefits in your messaging. Basically, translate the spec into the emotion. 3, choose the channels where that specific audience actually spends their attention. And 4, test small variations of your messaging and iterate continuously based on real, data-driven responses. It's that straightforward. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this powerful concluding principle from the source material. When you sell what people actually want to buy, time, identity, emotion, results, you stop chasing everyone and start winning the right customers. It's a game changer. Stop being generic, stop leaning on those boring feature lists. Focus on the human element, and I promise you, your conversion rates will follow. So, here is a provocative thought for you to ponder when you're looking over your campaigns tomorrow morning. Look at your current strategy and ask yourself honestly, are you just selling what your product does, or are you selling what your customer actually wants to buy? The answer to that single question might just change the entire trajectory of your business. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.